With Nagarro's diverse range of resilience engineering services, you can build robust and reliable systems and ensure business continuity. Our tailored solutions ensure that your brand has the unbeatable advantage of staying at the top, even during unforeseen events.
Hello and welcome back, everyone. So join us as we welcome Yury Niño, a cloud infrastructure engineer at Google, who will be discussing the importance of documenting chaos experiments. With her 6+ years of experience in designing, implementing, and managing software applications, Yury is passionate about solving performance, resilience, and reliability issues. In this talk, she'll share her insights into using chaos engineering and studying human errors, safety in systems, monitoring, observability, etc. Yuri believes that documenting chaos experiment is a crucial step in improving the reliability of systems, and she will share her expertise in this area. So we are excited to have her here with us today. So let's get started.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. It is an honor to have a new opportunity for sharing my last work. Documenting chaos engineering, and precisely it is the title of this talk. Nice to meet you. I am Yury Niño. I am Colombian. I work as cloud infrastructure engineer at Google. Also, I am chaos engineering and site reliability engineering advocate in my country. You can find me in Twitter, LinkedIn, and Medium as Yury Niño. Probably everybody here knows that software documentation is very important to communicate the decisions of a project. In this sense, it will be focus of this talk. This is the agenda for today. In the first time, I would like to share a chaos story that puts in evidence the importance of having documentation for chaos engineering. Explain that I am going to share the benefits of documenting software, including chaos engineering designs and experiments. It is important to mention that this talk is focused on chaos engineering, not all stages in the cycle for implementing software applications. Having said that, I will propose a framework for documenting chaos engineering based on the stages that commonly compose this discipline. I am going to talk about the general documents for the team, for example, the team charters, and I will try to explore another documents for preparing, running, and finishing a chaos pipeline. So let me start with the story, which I title A Chaos Story in the Middle of Chaos. Please don't judge me my skills for giving titles to events or situations. I am very bad with that. This story began a Friday at 30:50 time, 10 minutes before the control chaos. I am going to use my name for the main actress. Yury is a site reliability engineer, and she is participating of a chaos engineering exercise for the first time. She watched as an experimental co-host announce a routine for chaos in the chaos engineering Slack channel. It is a classical experiment in which the engineering team unplugs some network cables in production, and 14 times it is the moment of truth. One of the co-hosts runs the prepare command to incite the fail. A Yury's colleague and note maker record the time. Until here, everything is okay. And 40 times is the moment for all the participants to sprint into action. It's the moment for collecting the evidence of the failure and the recovery and the impact on the systems. Confirm all the details of their hypothesis and make note of the recommendations or remediations. And 14:30 is the moment to restore the service. This is the real moment of truth. All the preparation and exercise in the development environment have led you to this moment. You notice that the production environment doesn't return to steady state. Since something is wrong, the chaos lead decides to stop here. But it is so late because the automated recovery procedure has put online the isolated region for the chaos engineering exercise. The failure is now noticeable for the customer, which is terrible. This feels truly terrifying. For a moment, Yury has no idea what to do. Fortunately, she is not alone. Yury proposes to extrapolate the situation to the development team. The operations team thinks it's a good idea, So Yury pages the development team. Unfortunately, she gets no response. The chaos team searched in the intranet to find some documents that could help. After precious minutes go by, Yury finds a document referencing a weird script that can apparently fix the problem. But this is the first time that the team had heard of or about it. Since that is the only options, they run the scripts and cross their fingers. Fortunately, it works. Luckily, all the characters and episodes in this story are fictional. Let me analyze some thoughts about the story, a perfect recipe for the chaos in the middle of chaos. It is the postmortem that I prepared about the previous story. Starting the things went well. Let me mention that teamwork, use of the communication channels, and chaos engineering isolation were things that the team run well. Now the things that didn't go well, lack of knowledge about the automation recovery scripts. If you remember, Yury or team had to go for the information on the intranet. That the development team was unavailable, and of course, lack of documentation, as I just mentioned. And finally, let me close with the next actions. Plan a meeting between the development and SRE team in order to understand what happened with the service, and no less important, document the new service or the service involved in this story. So the moral of this story, the documentation is very, very important. And probably no, that is the reason for focus this talk in this topic, on this topic. Let me explain you why it is common the organizations depend on the performance of highly skilled individuals on the team. The teams used to preserve the important operational concepts and principles as nuggets of private knowledge that are passed on verbally to new team members. And it is a fact that if these concepts and principles are not codified and documented, they will often need to be relearned painfully through trial and error. As I just mentioned here, documentation helps developers communicate with each other. Documents help future developers understand and maintain the code, and good documentation helps you learn from your mistakes. That is really important considering practices related with chaos engineering, such as blameless building or writing postmortems, for example. So learn about the mistakes is very, very important. Let me review what is the role of a technical writer in this scenario. I think technical writers provide services that make chaos engineers effective and productive. This service extends well beyond writing individual documents based on requirements received from engineering teams. Here are some guidance to technical writers on best practices for working with teams that are working with chaos. Technical writers should partner with SREs to provide, or chaos engineering, also chaos engineers, to provide operational documentation for running services and product documentation for products and features. They can create and update that is very important, document repositories, restructure and reorganize repositories to align with user needs, and improve individual documents as part of the overall repository management effort. Writers should provide consulting to assess, assist, and address documentation and information management needs. Writers should evaluate documentation tools to provide the best solutions for site reliability engineers. So I would like to share this fragment of an excellent article related to SRE documents. SRE teams can prevent this process decay by creating high-quality documentation that lays the foundation for teams to scale up and take a principled approach for managing new and unfamiliar services. It is the most expected moment to present the documentation framework. Here, the framework, I have classified the documents according to the the stages that are part of a classical chaos engineering exercise. In the category of general, I have included team charters, production readiness, and technical designs. Before the chaos, it is important to consider the chaos policies, service agreement, and on-call policies. And I am proposing to use chaos designs, playbooks, and incident management during the exercise. I think that is very important to have this documentation available for the exercise. And finally, after the chaos, our missions is documenting what happened. So the postmortems and reliability reports are perfect in this stage. Let me go in detail on the general documents. I am going to start with one of my favorite assets. I am talking about the team charters. A charter generally includes the following elements. A vision statement. It should be an aspirational description of what the team would like to achieve in the long term. A short and high-level explanation of the space in which the team operates. This includes the types of services the team engaged with, related systems, and examples. Also, a short description of the top on the top 2 or 3 services managed by the team. These sections also highlight key technologies used and the challenges for running them, benefits of chaos engaged, and what chaos engineering does. Finally, key principles and values for the team and links for or to relevant documents. Technical design documents or TDDs are similar to proposals, but they describe in detail how a specific solutions will work. Design documents are often written when the implementation of a solution is not trivial or not well understood. The author will usually have the design decided, but he's looking for an approval from some reviewers or the stakeholders. Since a design document should describe the steady state of a system, it is really valuable asset for chaos engineers. Some common sections include an overview of the system architecture, infrastructure services, and documentation standards, which includes naming conventions, for example, for the projects on the cloud, and any things that needs standardizations or governance related with names. Another sections for a TDD or technical design documents include programming standards, development tools, requirements traceability matrix, document control, document sync-off, and document chaos record, change record. The production readiness review, or PRR, as it is known, is a document with the criteria considered to make sure that a service meets the accepted standards of operational readiness and that the service owners have the guidance they need. A service should go through the review process before the launch to production. Important to mention that during this stage, the service has not SRE support. So the product development team supports the service. Some common sections include architecture and dependencies. What is your request flow from user to front end to back end? The capacity planning. A key question here is, have you obtained all compute resources needed to support your traffic? Failure modes. For example, do you need any single point of failure in your design? Or how do you mitigate unavailability of your dependencies? Processes and automation. And finally, the external dependencies, critical to know if any partners or third-party services depend on your service. Now I will move to the documents that you should review before the chaos experiments. A policy is a guide to make decisions for achieving an outcome. Policies are generally adopted by a governance body within an organization. So my first recommendation is to include an asset that documents the chaos policies. Here are some sections for a policy. an overview, a policy goals, a description of the meaning of the steady state in your services, the specification of your SLOs, service level objectives, and SLIs, service level indicators, the definitions related to policies, which include, for example, outage policies, escalation policies, and related documentation. These are the classical service level agreements, famous in SRE. So they used to include what is the target for maturing the user experience, what process will indicate success or failure related to interaction with the user, and what systems and piece of infrastructure are used to conduct the process and meet the targets. For each target or metric, you should identify the source, the measurable, aggregation, duration, the thresholds is very important here. The threshold or the thresholds are very important here to determine success, and any explanation behind the target selection. Finally, for this stage, the on-call policies, which include an overview and scheduling, the shift details, and pager load, compensations, tool, processes, communication standards that are common in these assets. This is the real moment of truth in the following the documents that could be useful during the chaos experiments. I think this is one of the most important assets in the framework because it describes the experiment. So the most important for chaos engineers, of course. Here is registered what happened, the hypothesis, what you need, you will verify or refute, the environment in which the application is running, the duration and load applied in the experiment, the result, it is like an airplane black box, your observability strategy, and the actions that you will take from the results. The playbooks are also run, commonly we name runbooks, although it is important to consider the difference between that, but in this case, I am talking about the playbooks. With them, the on-call engineers respond to the alerts generated by service monitoring. In the story, if Yury has had a playbook that told her what to do in case of failure, the incident could have been resolved in a matter of minutes. Playbooks reduce the time to mitigate an incident, and they provide useful links to consoles and procedures. Playbooks contain instructions for verification, troubleshooting, and escalation for each alert generated from network monitoring processes. They contain commands and steps to review the accuracy. Finally, in the final stage, the documents for after the chaos. It is classic. It's a classical. As you know, I couldn't allow me to miss the postmortems. Remember, so far postmortem in the analysis conducted after the system failure, the goal is to understand why an incident or error happened and to learn from the experience. The mission with this asset is that the future software becomes more robust. Remember that problems happen, but by conducting a post-mortem analysis, you can ensure that they don't happen again. So I have a talk about the postmortems. It is a really interesting topic, and you have a lot of information related for that. Also, although the asset is in some cases could be very short, there are a complete knowledge about that or around that. Reliability reports are common assets to communicate the results of KPIs to the management. Remember that software reliability is the probability of failure-free software operation for a period of time in the environment. Some sections that I think you can include: indicator names, collection methods, assessment formula, scale criteria, target and performance thresholds, source of data, data frequency, data entry, and revision date. And that is all. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening, for attending. because I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate your willingness with this talk. So I hope that it could be useful in order to. I am working on the templates. So let me share after this talk the repository where you can find more information about that. But thank you so much. Remember, you can find me in LinkedIn, Twitter, and Medium as Yury Niño. Have a great day. Thank you.
Amazing. So much to learn from, so much to take in. Glad that this was a part of the talk. With that, thanks, Yuri, for joining in and giving us this amazing talk. We still have a couple of talks left. We are almost nearing the end, almost, not really, but yeah, we'll have a break soon. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining in. Stay tuned. We'll have a few more sessions lined up. And yeah, thanks everyone for joining. I'll make sure if you have questions, they reach on Slack and you get your answers. Thank you, everyone. Stay tuned. Bye.